Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video here of what exactly I'm trying to do with this channel. So basically, I'm trying to just show people how I will handle fixing a car and painting it, putting a motor in a car, doing body work a certain way. This is just my way of doing it. I'm not trying to tell people that's the only way to do it, because clearly there are a million different ways to do something. Um, what I do everything I do might not be exactly right, or it might not be what people like or what they expect to see. I get 98% of the comments I get are really nice and helpful. I had a guy message me and say, hey, after you weld those patch panels, do you ever think about drilling a little hole on the backside, like in the wheel well, and spraying some wax up there? That's a great idea. I never thought of that. So, why not use fluid film? That's a good product. So that's something I could do to help treat the backsides of those welds that are bare steel, that nothing I can do is going to coat them, and that's a good idea. That was a really good comment. Another guy had messaged me and said, hey, don't forget to cover the windows, which is another great thing, because I did a bunch of welding and forgot to cover the windows. Normally I cover the windows, but sometimes you just get ahead of yourself and you just don't do it. So that's another good point. People say, why aren't you wearing your mask? When I'm in the shop working, I always have my mask on when I'm sanding and grinding. Outside, it's been really windy and breezy, and basically everything I'm sanding and grinding is blowing away as soon as I'm doing it. Yesterday, a little bit was starting to get in my face on that one side, so I put a mask on. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to go and draw lines of Bondo on the ground and snort them. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to do something that's going to harm me. At the end of the day of working outside, I blow my nose and nothing comes out. Well, obviously, I'm not breathing in a bunch of garbage. But anyways, I had a bunch of good helpful things about starting this motor for the first time. Hey, rather than using a paint cap to put some gas in, try a spray bottle. Great idea. I never even thought to try a spray bottle. Put some gas in a spray bottle, and you can spray it into the carburetor. It's going to be more effective. It's going to be less of a mess. All this stuff is good because I'm learning off of you guys by your comments, and then I get the people that I call them keyboard warriors, people that, they just, no matter what you do is not going to be right. And if they think that, they want to message me and tell me basically in a roundabout way I'm an idiot, that's fine. You know what? I'm thick-skinned. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to stop me from making videos. I'm still going to make videos. I'm still going to show how I do things, and maybe it gives somebody else an idea to do their, something to their car. Not saying they're going to do it exactly like I do it, but maybe they'd be like, oh, well, that's a good idea. You never know. I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning. So that type of stuff doesn't bother me. A lot of it actually kind of makes me laugh. But I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to do? You put yourself out there in the public, and that's what you have to expect. That to happen. Like one guy messaged me last night saying that I'm breaking in this motor all wrong, and what did he say? Oh, and I admitted that I made mistakes on the motor, and if I think I'm going to get more subscribers because I admitted my mistakes, I'm wrong. So basically, for me being honest and telling the truth and saying, hey, I screwed this up, I screwed that up, so that you guys could possibly not do that, what I did, how I screwed up. And I just don't, it just doesn't make any sense, and I'm not going to be that guy that's going to go back after you with foul language or put you down, because I just don't do that. I have never in my life been on social media and put anybody down, and I never will. Whether I think it's completely asinine or not, I would never do that. It's just, if I think something bad about somebody, I just keep it in my head. And it is what it is. But yeah, I would rather have an honest channel and show my mistakes and show how I'm doing it, because like I said, maybe somebody will be like, hey, rather than welding those patches like that, why don't you try this, or why don't you do that? You know what? I'm going to think about it, and if I think it's a good idea, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to think here. What else was there? Just a few people, you know, here and there. And, but for the most part, everybody's been awesome. And subscribers, I can't believe I'm over 600 subscribers in 2 months, I think it's been. My other channel for my arcade games, it took me almost 9 months to get 1,000 subscribers. So I think I'm doing pretty darn good. And oh, the guy that had talked about how I'm breaking in the motor all wrong and all that stuff, and I'm never gonna get subscribers because I telling everybody that everything I do is wrong. I would rather have a channel that I make mistakes on so that you guys can learn. And also, if I'm not going to sit here and edit my videos and make everything look perfect like on TV or other people's channels. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to, I could totally cut out the exhaust manifold bolt, literally stripped out of the manifold and fell on the floor, you know, and then the exhaust is awfully loud and it's smoking because there's oil dripping out of the valve covers that are loose because the guy who built the motor forgot to put the spacers underneath the bolts, which isn't a big deal, you know what I mean? I'll get that fixed. That'll stop dripping on the exhaust. The exhaust manifold, we found one. I'll have it on Tuesday. I got the parts for the valve covers, the little, I don't know if you call them wings or whatever you call them. They're sort of like a washer, but they're wider. And I actually got the Phillips screws that are supposed to be in those valve covers from the 50s. They used a Phillips screw rather than a bolt. So I might just put the screws in there as well. I'm hoping to just remove one at a time and replace them and try to just leave those valve cover gaskets. If I put them all in and it still drips oil, obviously I'll have to pull the valve covers off and put new gaskets on. My guess is they're probably cork gaskets underneath there, which is probably all they offer. They might have rubber ones for this, I'm not sure. I haven't looked, but so, you know, hopefully that manifold getting changed and those valve covers being tightened up, and I need to get a choke spring for that center carburetor because it is not opening up the choke when it gets warm. So what happens basically is you have heat coming off your manifold going into your carburetor, and what it does is as the carburetor warms up, it opens your choke. The choke is staying closed, which is keeping it at a fast idle. So that's why we were having problems with that, and we just kind of quit at that point. But it's getting there. I don't see anything wrong with the motor. It sounds fine. Obviously, I can't perfectly hear what's going on until I get that manifold fixed. But so yeah, I don't edit my videos at all. I edit nothing. When I start my camera is when I start working. When I pause the camera, that's because I'm going to get something or I'm waiting for something to dry, you know, or I'm tinkering around with something that would just waste time on the video. And I don't ever plan to edit videos. I would rather it feel like you guys are standing right here in the garage with me working on this stuff. That's just how I think, that's just how I want to do it and how I think I like watching videos like that. Just let me put it that way. I don't watch a lot of choreographed videos. I never watch car shows on TV because it's not reality. It's not what really happens. Do you think that every single car you build, you're just gonna start the motor, it's gonna start like that, it's gonna run perfect? No, it's not gonna happen. There's always gonna be issues. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, you could put every single new part on a vehicle and still something will fail. You have hundreds of parts being meshed together into one unit, and not everything will always jive together. It just doesn't happen, you know. To be honest with you, as much of a nightmare as this 59 Impala has been to me for the past year now, the starting and stuff actually went a lot easier than I thought it was going to. I mean, this stemmed back all the way from putting the transmission on the motor before I even started making videos. I couldn't even get the torque converter didn't even want to slide into the transmission because somebody had a little nick on the side of the torque converter where it slides over. And I had to file it, clean it, make sure I didn't have any debris or anything going inside the torque converter so that it would all fit together right. You know, it's just, this car was taken apart by a gentleman. I found receipts from like the mid 80s when he must have really started ripping this car apart. Well, unfortunately he had passed away. and my buddy bought this car. This is not my car, by the way. This is my buddy of mine. I help my buddy out a couple times a year. I'll fix a car or two for him, but for the most part, I just work on my own stuff. He had purchased the car from the lady, his wife, after he had passed away, and she really knew nothing about it, and we didn't even get all the parts with the car. I mean, there were so many brackets and pieces that were missing that were kind of hard to find, you know, especially on a convertible. You know, you can't always find all the right parts for these. Luckily we found them so far. We're missing a couple little things here and there, but that's one of the reasons why this is taking so long, is every time I go to put something together, I'm missing something, you know, because it's just not physically here. If it were here and it were old and I can clean it and paint it, that'd be awesome, but I just don't have the parts, and then sourcing the parts, getting them shipped, getting them here, cleaning them, painting them, getting them ready to go on the car, you know, all that takes time. And that's just how things go, you know. I plan on, in the next year or two, only doing cars for myself only. I would like to start building a few cars a year and sell them. Now, I don't know, depending on the vehicle, you know what I mean? If I have a 86 Camaro, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there, and it has some rust repair that needs done, I'm gonna do the rust repair like I'm doing on that 64 Impala. If it's a 1959 Impala that's here, I'm not gonna do that to it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna replace the whole quarter panel if I think it needs it. If I don't think it needs it, I'm not gonna do it. I try to leave as much of the original steel of the vehicle as possible. That 64 Impala are original fenders, original doors, original hood, original trunk lid, original quarter panels. And the couple patches that I'm putting on there, the rest of the quarter panel is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, you know? You could stick your hand up behind that wheel lip all the way around and it feels great. There's nothing bad about it. So that's why I'm patching it that way. And to save cost, you know, because not every car you can spend 50 grand to restore it. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm more into building cars that you can drive. You know, not beauty queens that you're gonna put it on a car trailer and tow it to a car show and then tow it home. No, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I want to build something that I can get in it and drive it. Once, in my opinion, for me, I've had show cars before. I've built cars, and you know what? They sit in the garage. They do nothing. I don't drive them. You know, it's no fun for me. Always having to worry about where you park your car, or, you know, am I going to get oil leaked all over the motor, or, you know, it could be a number of things. And the older I get, the more I want to just build stuff that's nice, good looking, solid, and reliable. Something I can get in it, turn the key on, and drive. I get stuck in a rainstorm, oh well, you know, what are you gonna do? And that's what I really would like to start building, you know, and I'd like to start buying some cars and fixing them up and selling them, and not selling them for astronomical amount of money either. You know, I don't need to make $40,000 profit on a car. I like doing it, and that's why I do it. It's fun for me. It's an enjoyment. It's something I like to do. Just like my arcade games, I like to restore them because I like to take a hunk of crap and bring it back to what it originally was, you know. But it'd be nice to build some cars, sell them for a reasonable price so that somebody can actually have something that they've always wanted and not have to break the bank to get it, you know. And then hopefully, you know, by some of the stuff that I'm doing on here, it helps the weekend person at home that's working on their car, that doesn't have a ton of money, that can't afford to take a car to a body shop that is a minimum of $8,000 to $10,000 for a paint job anymore. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. If I didn't know how to do this, there's no way in this world I'd be paying somebody $10,000 to paint my car. I just would have a rusty car, I guess, because I understand what's involved, and I know it's a ton of work, but it's also a ton of money to put into something that gets driven around that eventually is going to get beat up. That's just the nature of it. You know, it's no different than anything else. Trying to think if there's anything else really. No, but I mean, for the most part, everybody's awesome. You know, like I said, I think I hit 610 subscribers today in 2 months, and I think that's pretty damn good. You know, and I'm very happy and I'm very thankful that you guys are taking interest in what I'm doing, and you know, giving me good feedback, and you know, telling me some things that I could do that I didn't even know. You know, I don't know everything about this. I learned this stuff 30 some years ago. I was 15 years old. I didn't have money to paint my car, my first car. So I painted it myself, you know, and it didn't turn out too bad. But, you know, 30 some years ago. And, you know, and I just kind of got into it, and I kept teaching myself and learning and watching YouTube videos, and a couple buddies helped me learn some stuff. And I think I'm in a pretty decent spot with knowing how to do most things well. I'm not saying that I do everything great, that I'm perfect at it, that I do perfect paint jobs by any means. There is no such thing as a perfect paint job, no matter what you do. I could paint 10 cars and them turn out really nice. And then all of a sudden I could paint that one car and I just get a run down the whole side. You know what I mean? It's a fine line with painting, especially with clear coat. If you're really trying to lay it on real smooth because you don't want to do a lot of wet sanding and buffing, because I don't know very many people that like the wet sand and buff, me included, you run that real fine line of running your clear. I mean, there is such a short window of time that you have, you know, to get that clear to lay down flat, but not too much to where it runs. Or you end up spraying it too dry and you have a bunch of orange peel, which you're gonna have to wet sand and buff if you don't want a bunch of orange peel in your paint. You know, it's just, I don't care who you are or how good you are at something, you never know everything, you know, and I know that I'm nowhere near know what a lot of these other people know, and I probably never will, you know. But like I said, what I'm doing works for me. I've been doing it for over 30 years. I've been in the construction field for 32 years. And so I've dealt with customers that are, you know, tough on you. We'll just put it that way. You know, I've been around other tradesmen that are complete dicks to you, you know, and you just get used to it. It is what it is. You know, if people need to vent out in a way to pick on people for what they do to make themselves feel better, then I guess that's what you got to do. I mean, if you guys, you know, if there's people out there that want to pick on what I'm doing, you're not going to get anywhere with me, because you're not going to discourage me from making videos or keep showing what I do. I enjoy doing it. And making videos for me actually gets me to get projects done faster, because I'm kind of motivated to make a video. And it's not like I can make a video and sit on my chair all day and pick my nose. Who's going to watch that? They want to see what I'm doing. They want to see what I'm getting at. You know what it's going to turn out in the end run. You know, this 64 Impala is going to be, this is a cheap paint job. I could have sat there, all those rust holes, I could have beat them in with my hammer, filled them in with mud, you know, primered it and painted the car and moved it on its way. And guess what? In 6 months, somebody's going to have that car and it's going to be rusting and the Bondo is going to be falling out of it. At least this way, it's solid steel. You know what I mean? It's going to take a heck of a lot longer for it to rust and to fail than it is if, obviously, clearly you guys can see, like on that one, look at yesterday's video, the wad of Bondo I took out of the front wheel lip. That was that thick, that big around. They just wadded it in there, just filled in the rust hole, and then they painted over it, and you can see how it looks. You know, and like I said, that whole car, we're just doing it cheaply. But I'm doing it, in my eyes, in my brain, better than an average body shop would do, because you're going to take it to a shop and they're going to charge you 10 grand. And how do you know that they're going to weld in patches? If you're not there every single day watching them, how do you know that there's not just going to be some guy slapping mud in there, painting it? And then it leaves and then it rusts in 6 months and you go back there and be like, we don't warranty rust repair, sorry. You know, and then you're out all that money. I bought the color, the clear, hardener for the clear, and a gallon reducer. I bought it off eBay for $408 shipped to the house. Plus all my fillers, primers, and my body, you know, everything. Sheet metal, welding gas, the whole deal. I'm going to be about $1,000 in the material for the whole entire, you know, paint job of the car. And I honestly think it's going to turn out pretty good. Is it going to be perfect? Nope. But it's going to be nice. And it's going to be affordable for somebody to buy in the future. And drive it, you know, and then in 10, 15, 20 years, it starts looking like crap. At that point, maybe the person will have the money to do it the correct way. What I've done is I haven't hurt the car in any way. So all I've done is taken the rust out of it. It's no different than having cancer and then them giving you chemo, and then they say, we got all the cancer out of you. You know, we went in there, we took your tumors out, we gave you chemo, you no longer have cancer. Okay, but the reality is it's gonna come back in the future. It always does. Same thing with rust. You know, no matter how well you do it or how much you get it out, it's always gonna come back unless you leave it in a bubble and you don't plan on ever driving it, and it sits in a climate controlled garage where it's heated and cooled all year long. That's the only way it's gonna stay perfect, you know? So this is just a quick video to pretty much thank everybody for, you know, the nice responses and the moral support saying, you know, you're doing a good job. Can't wait to see what it looks like finished. You know, all those good compliments and all the advice and all that stuff. And just to let you guys know about, you know, there's always going to be those keyboard warriors that are going to want to try to put you down, but sorry guys, not working with me. So hopefully you guys stick around, and hopefully I get more subscribers, and who knows, maybe I can turn this into something. I'm getting older. I'm trying to look for another thing to do in life. My body's pretty shot from construction. My knees are shot. I'm having a hard time getting up. I probably need to have a knee replacement in my left knee, but I've putting it off. Haven't even been to the doctor because I don't even want to hear about it. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things. I'll just keep going and going until I have no choice. But you know, who knows? You know, I don't know where this will go. Maybe it'll go nowhere. You know, maybe people will stop watching, people will stop subscribing. I don't know. But if it keeps moving forward and I keep getting more subscribers and, you know, positive feedback and stuff, when I get these couple cars left I have for a couple friends, the pickup trucks for another buddy of mine, I just have a couple cars left that I've had for a while that they've been in no hurry to get them back. Once I get these done, you know, if I can keep moving forward, I will buy a car and I'll do the whole process, you know, on video so you guys can see it from start to finish. From buying it, I'll even break down the prices if you guys want. I'll tell you exactly what I paid for it. I will save every single receipt. We can add it up at the end. We can see where we're at. And then we can sell it and see what we make. You know what I mean? If I buy a car for $5,000 and I put $5,000 into it and I have $10,000 into it, I'm not going to try to sell it for $20,000 unless it's some rare car that's worth $100,000. But what I'm getting at is I don't need to make, I'm not looking to become rich, and I'm not trying to rip anybody off either. You know what I mean? Especially if I do a car and I make videos of it and somebody's interested in buying it and they want to come look at it, I'll be like, hey, go check out the videos and you'll see exactly how I fixed it. If you're comfortable with how I fixed it and you like what you see, you know, and you want to buy it, buy it. If you watch my videos and you see how I welded patches in and you're not comfortable with it, you know, then don't buy it, you know. But that's me, and that's just how I've always been. I've always been honest, and that's why I'm such a busy person. I have work coming out of my ears. My regular day job, I can't keep up. I was at work this morning at 6:30 in the morning. I'll be at work tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning, which is Sunday. You know, I'm only working half days on the weekend, but I'm still going into work because I don't have a choice, because I have so much work and I can't get it all done. And then I have this stuff over my head that I need to get done. So it would be nice to get all this cleared out and just start buying a few of my own cars and not have to worry about anybody else. That if I get home from work at 8 o'clock at night, I don't have to work on the car that night because I'm exhausted, you know. And who knows, like I said, we'll just see where it goes, and I just hope you guys keep following and subscribing and sharing. Other than that, though, I think I've rambled on enough. I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to start probably block sanding down the doors and fenders. The weather's real crappy. It's been raining all day, all last night and all day today. That car's covered up. It's not getting wet. My buddy might come down tomorrow night. We might put the hood on this, and I might do the valve covers. Maybe I'll make 2 videos tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But I do want to start blocking down those panels because I want to start painting. So when I start blocking down those fenders and doors, I'll probably paint the fenders and doors by themselves, and then the hood and trunk lid by itself, and then the body. I am panel painting the car. I am going to hang the doors and fenders up in the spray booth so that they're just like they're mounted on the car. And then the hood and trunk lid, I'm gonna lay them flat. I'm not gonna hang them. If you hang a hood and trunk lid when you paint, there's a possibility it's not gonna match the tops of the fenders or the tops of the quarters, because your metallic's gonna lay different when a panel's hanging versus flat. And the reason why I'm gonna hang the doors and fenders is because the quarter panel, all three panels are going that direction. So when I paint those two, I'm gonna have the same effect of the metallic hitting and landing on it as I am the quarter panel. I've had really good success with panel painting. This 59's been panel painted, and it all matches, in my opinion, perfectly. I don't see any shade of any difference. I have panel painted cars, actually my Dodge Dart, the purple Dodge Dart that I painted for myself about 8 years ago. Everything matches perfect, except for the bottom edge of the trunk lid. I sprayed it a hair white, and you can see it just a little bit, but nobody's ever pointed it out. I'm the only one that knows about it. Well, now all you guys know. But anyways, for the most part, I've had really good success with panel painting. A lot of guys don't. And, you know, I think it's all in how you hang your parts and how you paint them, and, you know, how you apply your color. When I start painting those parts, I will not paint anything else until I'm done painting all that car. I will not touch the adjustments on the spray gun once I start. You know, I'll wash the gun, but I'm not going to turn any knobs or anything like that. So once I start painting doors and fenders first, that gun will stay to that adjustment until I'm done with the whole entire car. That also helps. You know, if you're playing around with adjustments and stuff, and you're moving your fan in and out, that's going to change your metallic layout. It's just going to change everything on you. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to end this video. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, share. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Good or bad, whatever. All right, guys, you have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow.